Hi, this is Farooq. You're watching with me Technology Dosage. And today's technology dosage for you is SDWAN concept. That is chapter number 1, certificates and keys. In this short video, we will try to understand the concept of how the controllers and the edge routers establish the advanced authorized whitelist model using the certificates. So in this, we will understand the various components and their roles, and also we will understand the identity of the controllers and identity of the WAN edge routers. In the final end of the segment, we will understand the authentication and authorization, how that takes place to finally establish the DTLS and TLS connectivity tunnels for data plane traffic forwarding. So I hope you will enjoy this video, and let us start today's technology dosage SD-WAN concept certificates. Thank you very much. Hi, this is Farooq. You're watching with me Technology Dosage. Today I'm going to talk about the SD-WAN concept in this chapter 1, certificates and need and deployment. So let us discuss further. Most of the service engineer, field engineers, network professionals, system engineers struggle to understand and implement in the context of SD-WAN. In this video, I am going to talk about the certificate and why do we need them. So before that, we need to understand the concepts of the components, SD-WAN components. So first, in my presentation, management plane, we manage a single window to provision, configure, manage and troubleshoot SD-WAN fabric. SD-WAN fabric, when I say FD-WAN fabrics, is overlay network. So there are two types. One is underlay, which we have the OSPF, BGP and EAGRP, ISIS. This is the connectivity which we are going to form. And one is overlay. So this can be OMP, this can be VXLAN, anything. So overlay fabric. Control plane. Control plane, vSmart, the controllers, the brain of the solution to perform control plane processing, such as building the entire network topology and calculating the best path, how to take which is the best possible path, and distributing information to the data plane. Data plane is the WAN edge routers, V edge routers. The orchestrator plane, the very important aspect, and the controller vPON. The orchestrate communication between all the components of the SD-WAN. It is the first point of contact to perform the authentication and authorization before any component participate in the SD-WAN overlay network. So this is very important. Data plane WAN edge routers is deployed at the center place or remote place or the branch office, is the router platform that is installed, and the WAN links are terminated on the data plane platforms. The traffic forwarding between the location and establish the IPsec tunnels for data security. Now there are two concepts: is the control plane establish the connectivity between the WAN edge routers through the DTLS and TLS tunnels. Okay, and we manage and we edge routers. They have the mechanism to transport the TLOC attributes. Already I have covered in my previous video with examples. So now here in this, we edge routers establish the connectivity, point-to-point connectivity between the we edge routers with IPsec tunnel. So this is possible only when we edge and other controllers establish the connectivity. Now let us move further. So zero trust security. Now zero trust security is a part of Cisco SD-WAN solution architecture. So using the authorized white list model, we maintain two types of authorization list. That is one for WAN edge routers and one for other controllers. So here, before that, it takes the mutual authentication between the WAN edge routers and the controllers. Authenticate using the authorized whitelist model, which means the devices are authorized before they participate on the network traffic forwarding. So authentication is must, and that is mutually. Now the certificate validation. Now the certificate validation is very important. It's based on the client server model. So we have, since the SD-WAN, we have the controllers and we WAN edge routers. Controllers is acting as a server and WAN edge routers are like a client. So there are two parties. One is client and another who authenticates is the server. So client present the CA authority, sign certificate to the server. Server validate the certificate. We have a two mechanism. One is symmetric algorithm and one is asymmetric algorithm. So here in symmetric, both the encryption and decryption happen with the only one key. So which is good. Advantages is fast and compact, and disadvantages is it's not supported with a digital signature is not supported. Whereas asymmetric algorithm, so it's a cryptographic system that use the pair of two keys. The two keys is one is for the private and one is for the public. One is for the encryption, one is for the decryption. Both the keys is used. Advantages is public key sharing. I mean, no need of sharing the private key, and digital signature is supported. So disadvantages is slow because two keys is involved. So the need of the certificate is because the WAN edge routers and the controllers mutually identify and authenticate using authorized list model. So whereas the certificate and algorithm encryption is also maintained. Now the question arises is how is the identity is verified. Controllers identity. Cisco SD-WAN controllers components can be identified using certificates. These certificates can be provided by various vendors like Symantec, Digicert, or Cisco signed certificates. If the customer is willing to use enterprise certificates, they are also supported. These devices signed certificates are installed on each controller. WAN edge routers identity. There are three types: type 1, type 2, and type 3. So this is for the various versions. Cisco iOS XE devices, that is Cisco manufactured devices, Cisco edge routers have secure unique identity that is called as SUDI, which has X.50509 version 3 certificate with associated key pair. This is protected in the hardware which is known as trusted anchor module or TAM. So this is the hardware chip, all the certificates stored here. Symantec, Digicert and Cisco root certificate to authenticate the controllers are preloaded in the software. These are required for trust for controller certificates. So that means we need a trust relationship between the controllers using this certificate. Type 2, Viptela manufactured V-Edge routers that are manufactured by Viptela are identified by Avnet, and this is loading during the manufacture of router on tamper-proof module, that is TPM chip on the Viptela routers. Again, various vendors like Symantec, Digicert and Cisco root certificate to authenticate the controllers are preloaded in the software. These are required for the trust for the controller certificates. Again, trust relationship. The third one is for all virtual routers that can be vEdge, Cloud, ISR-V, Catalyst 800V, CSR 1000V or ASR 1002X. So these are the virtual routers are identified using the OTP generated by the vManage during the deployment. Initially, a temporary identifier is generated. Once the authentication is done, permanent identity generated by vManage. In this case, we manage work as CA for generating and installing the certificate on the devices. So this is how the controller's identity and one edge router's identity is established. Final authentication and authorization state. I hope I made easy. Now let us complete the final part. Authentication and authorization of the SD-WAN components. Controllers authenticating the WAN edge routers. Controllers is server and WAN edge router is a client in this scenario. That is, I explained in my previous slide. First, the root CA certificate trust is validated using the root certificate. Now, the organization name from the certificate, that is certificate OU, organization name OU, is compared with the locally configured organization name, this part of the controller initial system configuration. So while doing the configuration, we need to set the parameters for using the system wide configuration and organization name and VPN configuration, etc. Finally, the serial number is validated against the authorized list of the devices. Now, the WAN edge routers authenticating the controllers. First, root certificate trust is validated using the root certificate. Organization name in this part of the initial system configuration. After this completion of this certification, identification, and authorization, post successful authentication and verification, a secure tunnel, that is a DTLS and TLS, established between the controllers and WAN edge routers. So post this state, the devices is discovered in the vManage and further advanced full configuration can be pushed through the device using the templates and policies. So overall, this is what the role of the certificates in the SD-WAN concept and the controllers. So if you understand, this is a part of initial configuration. When you bring up your routers, initially when you have to bring up all your just controller, this is the part what you have to do. First the system wide configuration, then you have to do the VPN configuration, and then management configuration, and then after that, once if it is building, then you have to generate the CSR, generating the certificate installation. This is what complete the authorized whitelist model of the SD-WAN. Hope this clarifies and helpful to you. So once if you understand this concept in nutshell, so this will be really helpful for you how this certificate systems work in SD-WAN.